I'm up in my garage, and my wife finally talked me into installing a whole house carbon filter and softener descaler system. So, because the water in my city basically has chloramines in it, and the chloramines is not really good to drink or shower with or anything. Rinse your food off. So I tried out the Aquasana system. We'll see how this goes. I just finished installing it. Took most of the day. What I used was the descaler system right here. And then if you have chloramines in your system, you need to install the what is this, EQ400 system that's specific for chloramines. A lot of times, well, I can't say a lot of times, just researching, people had bought the standard 6-year filter, carbon filter, the whole house filter right here, and it's supposed to be 6 years. It lasted about 9 months because there was chloramines in the water. So you have to get a specific filter if your city has chloramines. So this is supposed to work for 4 years. I guess the softener doesn't matter. They say the softener is good for 6 years. Pre-filter, this is a 3-month. That's why it's longer than a standard one. So this is supposed to be 3 months, up to 3 months. The shorter one, if you got for your pre-filter, would last probably anywhere from 1 to 3 months. This is supposed to be at least 3 months or up to it. Then your post-filter. It was pretty much just like the instructions. All the fittings that they provided worked out really well. Then here's my bypass right here. So that way, if I have to change any of this, but I do not want to shut water off to the house, all I got to do is shut this valve off here, going into the filtration system, and shut that water off, and then it isolates this whole system here. Then I turn this valve on, and then that loops around through the back, comes out through here, and then goes back and supplies water to the hot water and to the rest of the house. You're thinking, okay, when I shut water off and I got to swap one of these filters, I got water pressure in the system. Well, right on top of here is a pressure relief valve. You push this, it releases the pressure when you have these valves off on both sides to go ahead and change out these two filters. That makes it nice. The only thing that Aquasana probably could have corrected or realized was they had this union with 2 pipes this size for both sides, and that's all you were supposed to use to connect these. I didn't pay attention to that. I just went for their word that when I screwed this in and then screwed the exact same size that was on this side in, that I would put them two together and it would just, the union would fit perfectly, but it was short about an inch or so. So I just basically, since I had already glued everything, I had to cut, coupling, nipple, coupling, and then I tied it all in. I didn't have any leaks, not one single leak, and I think following Aquasana's recommendation to wrap the each fitting 6 times with the just cheapo Teflon tape. One thing I noticed right away was when you hook up the carbon one on the inlet, I didn't notice it on the outlet, but on the inlet, right when I started, I could hear crunching noises. So I backed it out and just blew it out, and then I had to take like a toothbrush and go counterclockwise to get all the little carbon granules out of the threads. So keep that in mind. Make sure that's clear. I mean, you don't want to have to go back and fix anything or repair anything. So, you know, sometimes if you try to do things yourself, it's your first time. Like this was my first time doing this plumbing job. it's important to be meticulous, even if it takes you most of the day. And a plumber could do it probably in a couple hours. You know, they're just really used to piping. So I bought this little kit, this little Apollo kit over there to do all of the PEX. I got that at the regular hardware store. It was my house was 1 inch, so I had to get a 1 inch to 3/4 reducer because the entire Aquasana system is 3/4. So I got a coupling 1 inch to 3/4, and then you just use the PEX machine, or a machine up at the PEX crimper, and just crimp those on there. I mean, I was surprised just how cool that system works. I was always intimidated by something new, and like the plumbing and how the PEX would work, and so now is my first shot about it, or first shot trying it out, and it's awesome. These tees came with it. Again, you know, I'm just like surprised on how well these things seal. You just basically cut the pipe and just shove it in there, and it really locks it in. I mean, that's cool. And then you got your valves. Those are all PEX, you can see. There's a couple little instructions on how to use the PEX, and I'm sure there's some YouTube videos on that. It did come with some fittings of the filter systems being mounted right with it, but then you can't really, it found it easier just to mount it on a board, because it comes with, Aquasana brings these brackets, supplies the brackets. I figured it was easier just to mount it here and then just run a nice little line into it, and I did that on both sides. I used some just regular nylon strapping to secure it, and staples, and I think it's very important to always support your water line. So I got a little strap here, so that way when you grab it, it doesn't really move. I got another support here to support. This is the lines going into the house, and I got one back there, and I think another one over there with the line coming in. Yeah, I don't really have garage space, so you can see that why did he mount it in his attic? Well, you know, I like to keep things in my garage that I don't ever use, which is probably like most people. So I thought, you know what, I'll just put this in my attic, and it doesn't stand very tall. The boxes it comes in are really tall, but this thing, you know, when you look at the website for Aquasana, it gives you the dimensions, so you got an idea what it's like. I had a buddy of mine fabricate this drain pan. I got the drain hole right there, so when I swap them out, it's just going to all drain down an overflow line right there that's tied, that's connected to my overflow line to my air conditioner that's sitting over there. So so that makes it nice. So it's just going to drain out the side if I have enough water build up in here, which is really cool. Or if there's a problem and there's a leak that I'm not aware of, and if I go outside on this side of the house where the overflow line is, I'll see it dripping and know I got a leak. So nearly all the fittings are over this drain pan. I supported it with a 3/4 inch plywood, a couple 2x4s. I got a 2x4 on the back, a 2x4 on here, all secured with some nails. I didn't go crazy on not on the nails, on screws. I didn't go crazy on screws. I just wanted to make sure it was secure enough. I really don't think there's really that much weight. I was standing on this, and it was pretty sturdy. I kind of slightly leveled it towards the drain, just so subtle you can't really tell, and then also a little bit back, so that the weight is on the vertical beams back there, but it's such a small amount. What I found interesting was Aquasana puts this here, which I don't understand. Well, I'll just read it because I got a lousy phone here. Operating pressure 20 to 100 psi. Okay, that seems all right. But then it says here, operating temperature range 40 to 90 degrees. Well, I don't care if it's in the attic or in your garage. Really, the only place it seems like you could really operate this would be in your house. So I really don't agree to that unless it's just talking about the water moving through it, but it doesn't really matter where it's placed unless you're in a really cold, freezing environment. But, you know, but for the most part, if it's just talking about groundwater coming through into the system, yeah, I mean, it's going to be well within that range. Oh, and then it came with a nice little handy thing to swap out your water filters. You will have to swap these out every few months, which is fine. I mean, honestly, these things are only a few bucks. I mean, a few dollars for these filters. If you shop around and you get a handful of them, it's better to have a lot than not enough. Or how should I say, it's better to have some right here ready to change out than realize, oh, I have no water pressure, and then have to wait to order them. So just have a stock of them. I have a year's supply, which is about 4 of them, and then I'll just keep those up here. But I'm trying to think if there was anything else. When these were shipped, I guess they don't want to be tilted or nothing like that. Or what I found was this is a little coupling that just sits in there. That these containers are kind of round or on the bottom, so it was all cockeyed. So what I did was I laid it about a 30 degree, used a 2x4 and tapped it to get it loose. Then I reseated it and then tapped it in, lifting up the filter to get it level. So you might have to re-level these. Let's see here. And I did what I did was, since I had it in the attic, you're thinking, how did he flush it and then get it up in the attic? Well, that was the thing. The softeners really light. The carbon filter, man, that thing was kind of heavy with it dry. So I thought, you know what? I'll put them both up in the attic, and once I get this system in, then I'll flush this one, just like the video says. And it comes with these cool little fittings right here. You just tap it into there. You put your hose onto this end, then you run I ran my hose down out of my attic on the ground into the sidewalk there, and then turn on the main water, and then I flush this for 10 minutes or so, and a couple of times off and a couple of times on, just to agitate the whatever's in there. And same thing with this. And then I tied this line in. Then I put this on here, and I hooked up the hose to this side and flushed that. Same thing. The main thing, most important, is to flush your whole house, carbon. So you want all of this flushed, because then when you do it in the micron filter, if you haven't really flushed these out initially, its first startup, that's going to plug up right away, because that's a micron filter. So then I'm just going to keep these little fittings back there for the next time I change these out, which is in about 4 to 6 years. And that's it. So now as far as I know, I guess I can drink water out of any faucet in my house. And I feel pretty good about that. And I think that was it. So anyway, I ordered this whole package from Aquasana, the Pro Kit. If you get the Pro Kit, basically it comes with the tees, so that way you can valve it off yourself, run water still through your system. Probably don't even need that really, unless you're in an emergency. So I guess it would be a good thing to have for an emergency situation. One of these plugs up or has an issue. You probably don't want to waste any time if you need water. And that's why having the little Pro Kit makes it nice. So I was really impressed. The only issue I had was this right here. They were short with their measurement. It was so close that these were connected and it wouldn't work. But other than that, I ran, the 3/4 inch PVC here and there just so I can mount those up there. So that's probably the only thing you got to do. Because these are unions, they're really nice. You don't have to tighten that down. You can get all your glue fittings in and do that really quick. And this drain pan thing, I just feel really good about this, installing this. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So, all right, that's it.